Welcome back to Malledam, guys. I know it's been a while, but today we're going to be, I'm going to be showing you around the new developments that have happened since Malledam, since we last explored Malledam, and then we're also gonna build another new area. So this is the new high-speed line that has been built in between Malledam and the northern exit to the map, which means that finally, just like in the real Netherlands, we have a high-speed line for the Thalys to run along. Oh, it's very fast. It gets you there much quicker than the previous line did. It avoids Brokovado entirely and runs on a slow... there's no steep drops. There's no terribly tight curves. This one's a little bit tight, but you know, it's all in the spirit of fun. And it gets you to Malledam much quicker than the previous trains did. And it means that tourists, which is there's a lot of them, don't have as much of a wait as they used to get into Malledam, and they avoid the busiest train stations, which I think is a good thing. So now we're just rolling into Malledam. It's changed a bit from when we last saw it. The frame rate suffers a little bit now. You see, my computer should be able to run this, but because of the number of assets, it really doesn't act in the way I'd like it to, which is kind of a shame. When I play Planet Coaster, for instance, it runs perfectly. It doesn't help, to be fair, that I'm recording. When I'm recording, it can be a bit laggier than usual, which is a shame. But nevertheless, we keep working on the city. We're coming in now. As you can see, there might be a few more buildings than what there was before. The metro is finally up and running in certain parts, which it wasn't before. So now there's metro stations in some places. Trap's still a bit wibbly-wobbly, but that's okay. Yeah, and the Thalys now stops in this extended hall. I don't think I included this in the last one. This extended hall for the Thalys to stop in, which I think is very nice. Which means that the Thalys and the other high-speeded cities stop in this extra long part of Malledam Central, which I think is excellent. So, here we are. We're back in Malledam. Let's orient ourselves a bit. Here is Brokovado. Since we last visited it, it's had a bit of suburbia installed, which I think is excellent. This is from the European Suburbia pack, and I just think it looks really good, to be honest. It also reduces the amount of effort I have to put in detailing, because I don't have to make everything wall to wall. I just plop things and then move them around a bit. Each one has about four households in it, 3 households in some of them. So part of it's still Dutch, part of it's just the generic European suburbia. The only part that's left, this is the college pack from America, which you can see in especially buildings like this one. It's very American, but I thought it looked quite cute. And there's another church. Really the only thing left to do is fill in this part of Brokovado, and then all of the northern villages will be done. Nothing's really changed over in Bassendorp or Bunnikplaats except for this. This is the Hogesnelheidsline, the new high-speed train line. Gets a decent amount of traffic. I've made it so only traffic heading to Malledam Central can use it. So slow train traffic, which is passing through but not stopping, avoids this area and instead comes through this part of Brokovado under the road, which is still fine. It's just a lot slower than using the high-speed line. Massa under Malle, exactly the same as how it's always been. So is the Bedrijventerrein, except now we have the districts, so we can see exactly. For instance, there's 1,846 people living there. Malledam Nord expanded a little bit. Now there's a little bit of industry in there, inside the roundabout, which I thought was kind of fun. It's in there so it doesn't cause too much traffic. Other than that, not really changed too much since last time. It might be a bit bigger. And then Malledam, pretty much all of this has been built off camera. So we'll do a very quick tour and then we'll get into speed build. So we have this part of Malledam at Van Gogh, which is this metro station, named after the famous painting Van Gogh. Painter, sorry. It's quite busy here. It gets a lot of deliveries. There's loads of people living in these buildings. These are big offices which don't actually have that many workers in them for some reason. I think these are from the high-tech, was it DLC? Green Cities, right? And then here is probably most of the old town, which I think is quite cute, to be honest. You have a few of the grey buildings which always got snuck in the 60s. This giant apartment slash office slash commercial campus, which I think is really cool. I made that sort of myself out of a bunch of other buildings. This music club, I called the club because I'm not very creative. Looks like it's in like a former factory or something, which I think is lovely. You have this, which is Gegengracht, with the church. Alexander Fleming Park, named of course after Alexander Fleming, who discovered penicillin. There's a couple tram lines running around here. The more modern-ish Dutch buildings, which are 50s, 60s era. The trams, which themselves have the correct number on them. This is the 24, and it's got 24 on the front, which I think is great. And then the 5 also runs in this direction. There it is, the 5. Excellent, I love that. Here is the Rijksmuseum from Amsterdam. I haven't really got around to doing anything with this area yet. I do intend to at some point. Is my graphics really high? I might just lower my graphics a tiny bit because the frame rate's struggling a bit with the rendering. Come on. That work? Yeah, there you go. That's actually not any better. Okay, I'll just ignore it. Yeah, there's this new area over here, and all of this is divided into 2 sections. In the Binnenstad, only residents are allowed to park, which means there's still enough parking, and in Centrum, everyone is allowed to come. So Centrum is, let's have a look at the zoning map, is this whole area in the south of the island, and Binnenstad, which is the very centre of the city, includes this extremely busy area, which gets a lot of tourists, especially the church and the area around the church. So I think we should get to building. What I want to do today is this area in between this road, which runs parallel to across the water up to the Van der Liefert Museum, and these sort of more modern buildings, which sit here. I think it won't take too long, because what I want to do is it might take a while because I want a sort of fairly detailed area like this area over here, which has gardens and everything in it, so it might take a while. But I really like this area. I think it has a lot of character to it, and I want to sort of mix between the old townish area of it, and I'll maybe have a little modern area down near the train tracks, which wouldn't have been built up quite as high. So I'll get to work on that, and hopefully I'll be back shortly. very nicely. We are done at last. Well, I slightly diverged from what I originally planned. What I originally planned was to have a modern neighborhood here and an older neighborhood here, but I sort of diverged a bit. I went sort of for a mix of styles. So you have Art Deco in the middle here with this McDonald's, which is actually kind of cool. I'm just going to add some trees next to it. The Art Deco, I think it was a creator pack, part of it. And then a couple were also in the base game, and there was only a couple of them. If I remember correctly, it was free. Maybe I'm wrong. But I love the style of it. I think it fits in perfectly as like a divider between old and new. So we have a few of the Art Deco ones. We have a couple modern buildings on the water, and some older buildings in the western side of this. There's also, I'm not certain how I feel about this at the moment. It's a bunch of the modern low row houses, and I think maybe I'll need to detail the middle a bit in a future video. I added a few of the EU, the European style houses like suburbia, which is maybe a bit too close to the city centre, but occasionally you'll find these neighbourhoods even in the bigger cities where it just comes shortly down to lower densities not far from the very centre of the city. You have then the normal old town, which is actually what I wanted to add most of it to. This is a different style. I don't think I've used this one yet, so it looks quite nice, and I messed them up a little bit more than I usually do, just to give it a bit more flavour. I'm gonna just add a fence. Can I get a normal fence, please? This one should do. Just stop people walking in here. Nice. So, I had then a couple of normal European buildings from the base game, and then a bunch of generic Amsterdam buildings. Here I took the Old Town mod pack, which I think looks great. I think I'll need to fix up this intersection because it's getting a bit wild. And then I added a little park for people to cycle and go through, and I think that looks quite nice. It's already getting some use. Yeah, let me just set up this intersection with some... Ooh, it's getting busy here. Tell you what, I'll have to add a time traffic light. So this is the kind of content I've not done in a video yet. So these two are going to get a traffic light together. So, let's see. Start with... Oh, what the hell? Okay, I need to move that over here. So we'll start with the first step, which will be the tram in the direction of north to south. So this will be a 5-second one, and that will be like this, and this one. So that means that these guys can... What I'm going to do is I'm going to let the pedestrians all cross at once at one point, but I'm also going to let them cross when there's no traffic. So these guys cannot cross. These guys can. These guys can. These guys cannot. Right, that's the first step. Oh, hang on. I'll also have to let these guys on the bridge go as well in that direction. Come on, can I get this one, please? Need the other traffic light. There we are. So that means that they'll be moving as well. Save that. I'll make this a bit longer actually, I'll make that 10 seconds. And the next step will be actually maybe it's better if they stay green pretty much all the time. Next step will be also maximum of 10 seconds, which will be now to let these cars drive. That's the only difference. So those guys can still go, those guys can still go. These guys can now go. No, they can't, sorry. Okay, next step is, let's switch these all to red. There's so much stuff, oh my god, I can't even get to the traffic light. There we are. And that one can also go red. So now it's these guys, which are going to go, and also these guys get to go. No, that makes no sense. No, these guys still need to be green then, or at least in this direction. It needs to be green. Yes, that's correct. That's a maximum of 5 seconds. 6 seconds, why not? Then we will add the next step, which is these guys going. These switch to. Come on, this is so difficult. There you go. You definitely can't cross now. You can cross now. Yes, that's correct, I think. And then these guys can't go. These guys cannot either. These guys can. These guys cannot. I think I've got all of them now. So now the final step is a 5-second one. Always 5 seconds for pedestrians. Let's see, get these all on red. See how this works. I'm not certain whether I've done this correctly. I think I have. Yeah, okay. Green, 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 green. Okay, let's start this. See how it works. So it's got this traffic moving quite nicely. So now there's lots of... These guys still haven't been given the go-ahead. They should have been given their chance by now. They just got completely skipped. I don't like how the traffic lights... See, the timed traffic lights never seem to work properly because it always just seems to skip steps. Which, even though they have a really long wait time for some reason, they are skipped. See, state 3 just got skipped there. Okay, I'm going to stop this and force them to get at least 5 seconds with a maximum of 10. I'm going to give all of them at least 5 seconds, except for the first one because that's only a tram and it'll change. And I'll set the first one to if the weight ratio is equal to 0, it is. If the flow ratio is 0, then it can change automatically. Okay, let's try that. This should work much better than the previous one. So now those guys have been given the go-ahead. Of course, they're getting cut off. There we are. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Anyway, I'll sort it out off camera. I think it's at least working, so that's a good thing. Okay, apart from that, we've more or less covered everything. I think I'll add in another tram stop, maybe in the middle here, for more people to change there. 'Cause right now the only tram stop is up here at the museum. And I think that, because there's also the metro stop here, but it's on the wrong side of the canal for pedestrians. So what I'm also going to do right now is add a pedestrian bridge. That should be nice. Let's snap the angle. Nice, good, easy. Don't even worry about it. Get the node. Yeah, so basically this whole setup is more or less just allowing Malledam to begin to expand, which I think is a little bit necessary. Because Malledam at the moment is still quite small in the centre, and I think it needs to be more representative of a real European city and start actually increasing in size a bit. So, there we are. We now have a pedestrian bridge to the metro and the tram stop, so that might be a bit better. Excellent. I'm going to end the video there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off with a ride on the tram, which goes via the canal along here, just to show you what it's like to live in the city now. Right, thanks you guys for watching.